Howdy folks, Alan Butler, Butler Contracting here, and today we're going to talk about decks. Yeah, as some of you know, we do a lot of outdoor living space style work, and we like to build memories. One of the ways we build memories is by building decks and great spaces to hang out with your family and friends and create great memories. Now, when you're creating great memories, we want to make sure you have a great experience. And one of the ways we do that, and we're going to talk about today, is about composite decking, this kind of material, versus wood, pressure-treated wood specifically. And the differences between the two, and what option might be best for you in your situation. So particularly, most decks, the most common material is going to be a pressure-treated wood, something like this. It's going to be installed either a 2x6 or a 5/4 deck board with some rounded edges that you're going to put on the surface of a deck. And when that gets installed, it's relatively low investment economically up front when it first gets put on. But long term, you might have issues with it. Treated wood, and specifically, it can bow, it can curl, it can buckle, it can warp. When it dries out, it's hard to control treated wood. It's a natural product. It's pressure treated. It's a lot of moisture and chemicals embedded into it. And as that dries out in the sun, it's natural. It just kind of does its natural thing and move around. In addition to that, this wood's often prone to splitting, cracking. Over time, it gets beat up by the sun, sitting out on that deck and the weather. It's going to need some kind of sealant or staining or some kind of maintenance long term. So as you're going through that process, every few years, you're keeping that thing sealed. You're going to have to sand it, stain it. There might be splintered wood or cracked wood or things that you need to replace through that process. So it's a lot of maintenance long term to keep up with, to keep that deck in a good operating condition for you and your usage. Now, some of the advantages of not going with treated wood is you don't have to stain it or paint it every few years. You don't have to worry about the warped wood or the rotted wood and keep replacing things periodically. So oftentimes we can get out of doing something like this. We just throw it out. And what we like using is composite material. Now there's lots of different options on the market. Most people are probably most familiar with Trex Decking. There's a few differences in the Trex Decking versus the Apex Decking style material that we like to use. And we like to use this Fortress building product. It's an Apex deck. This is more of a solid core PVC material, so it's a synthetic style of decking. Trex Decking is decent. It's a good product. There are different situations where it's good. It's not a solid core. It's more hollow core. It tends to warp and buckle a lot more in our weather environment just because we get such extreme heat in our area, and we have seen issues with it warping and curling and buckling, especially if the contractor that's installing it doesn't frame it correctly underneath. It can definitely have issues with it, and we've seen that a lot where folks are trying to frame decks traditionally and put this Trex material on it. It does not work. It will fail. Some of the nice parts about going with this Apex style decking, you can see how thick this core is. It's very solid material. I don't have a piece of Trex with me because we don't really use it, so I don't have one laying around. But if you look at it online or check out another video on YouTube here, you'll see the difference in the style of these two products. So just basically what we're trying to get at is you're getting a lot better texture and material on this, or grip on this surface, so it's less slick compared to the wood board where you're going to get it wet. It's going to be a lot more slippery. So if you're around a pool or an area that gets wet, or got a lot of algae in the area, maybe around some trees and leaves and stuff, it's going to be a lot more slippery, a lot more prone to falling. The other cool thing is you can pick lots of different color options when it comes to these styles of material, and they're there for life. We got a 20-year product warranty on these things. We're not worried about repainting them, sealing them, staining them long term. It's UV protected. They're protected against fading and peeling and flaking and all those things that are going to naturally happen to wood. So the great thing is it's got a great product warranty, and long term, if they do start to have issues long term, these are actually stainable. So there are some options to get these stained or painted to bring them some life back to them, after that warranty 20-30 years lifespan wears out on them. So they should last a long time for you. So just something to consider and think about if you're looking at getting a deck. Definitely look at the composite route versus the wood route if you're planning to be there for the long haul and don't want to have a lot of maintenance over the years. A little bit more initial investment, but long term you're going to save a lot of money in the long run, a lot of headache and hassle and maintenance costs. So if you're interested in getting a deck, give us a call. at 844-628-8537 or visit our website at butler.contractors, and we look forward to seeing you on your next deck project.